Welcome to week 5, week 6 of the BiddieCast. I am your host, Dave Fest, alongside with Mr. Sean Klein. Sean,
What's up?
how's it going this week?
I think the Muppet Nation had a good week.
Yeah, both our teams won.
Yeah.
Let's have a big game this week. We'll get to that a little bit later. But yeah, a lot of big games this week. Let's get right to it. Let's start breaking down these games.
The scores. Game 1 of the week, Double D and the UK Bills. Double D comes up with the win. Dave, who put them apart?
Lamar Jackson. I mean, it looked like in the first half of that game on Monday that Double D was going to lose big to... Actually, he might have been in the lead. He might have needed Lamar Jackson based on that score. But, I mean, come on. Lamar Jackson comes out and just finds fire in the second half. Lamar Jackson, MVP of that game.
Almost 50 points. The Killer Tomatoes and the Muppets here. The Muppets squeak one out, 166.3 to 149.45. Mark Andrews, the guy on my team that really set it apart. I was worried I was going to lose to Killer Tomatoes this week, and then Mark Andrews just had that monster game. I needed
Herbert too.
Herbert, of course, but Mark Andrews is the guy that really gave me the win there on Monday night. Buffalo Angela defeats the Mariani game. 182 to 171.
Yeah, big Mike Williams. I mean, that's, you talk about Herbert having a big game. Mike Williams. Mike Williams. Talk about was a surprise. I think he's a surprise of fantasy this year. I don't think anyone could have foreseen his production. Long season. We'll see if it sticks this way. But Mike Williams, big game for Angela.
It's my year, bitches. Climbs to 2-3 with a 144 to 128 win over the committee. Really, the guys that got done for him were Jonathan Taylor and Derrick Henry. Big games from the running backs for bitches to give them their second win of the season.
Yeah, and then we got my team, the Knob Slobbers, pulling off our second win in a row against worthy adversary in Beckham. Mike Evans got him in a trade with you. It was looking terrible at first, but he pulled out a 31-point game. He really helped me get over the edge there against Chris.
Yeah. So before we get into the power rankings, let's go over what's happened this week. We've got a bunch of injuries and that trade that we just mentioned. Let's go over the injuries first. We have injuries to Russell Wilson. He's going to be out for, it sounds like, some time. Probably 2 to maybe even 3 months for Russell Wilson. So that could be the end of him. The second one is Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Suffered a knee injury in that game against the Bills. He's going to be out for several weeks. And then, of course, you have the Giants' offense, which is completely banged up. I mean, I don't even know where you want to start with that one. Between Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, all the wide receivers.
Yeah, I mean, Barkley's injury looked a lot worse than it was. So luckily for him and his fantasy owners, that looked real bad. And then Danny Dimes, just like, that guy had no idea where he was when
and he fell over. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, oof.
And then I think the last big injury of the week was Juju Smith-Schuster. He's going to be out for the rest of the season. How's that going to impact the Pittsburgh offense?
Yeah, I mean, that's their biggest weapon, right? I mean, now they have, Deontay Johnson is their number one. James Washington there. I mean, again, you got an aging quarterback who's not getting it done. I mean, I think Pittsburgh's going to be on the struggle bus for a while there to get that offense going.
Yeah, I think the Steelers are toast this year.
But I got a question for you, and this is kind of on the fly. We didn't talk about this earlier. If you had to choose from a fantasy point of view, who would you rather have as one of your quarterbacks? Would you rather have Geno Smith or Giraffe Neck Mike Glennon?
Well, I don't know if I picked him up in our league, but I did pick him up in other leagues.
I think you got Geno. You got Geno.
Yeah, I did pick up Geno Smith. I needed a quarterback I didn't really need one because I do have Heineke, but I picked up Geno Smith because I don't like Heineke's matchup, even though they're projecting 20 plus points from him. I just don't know if that's going to happen. I don't think Kansas City's defense is as bad as everyone's making it out to be. They have some really good players on that team. I think Washington's up to be slaughtered this week. So I picked up Geno as kind of a backup to that because I needed someone to sub in for Jameis Winston. So I'm still going to ride that Geno Smith train. He really impressed me when he came in for the injured Russell Wilson. He showed a lot of poise in the pocket, made some really good throws. And so I'm hoping that a lot of that is coaching and learning behind in the right system for a few years so he can be successful in the offense that Seattle has.
Spoken like a true coach. Love the answer. Love the answer.
All right, let's get into our
rankings.
Our power rankings.
Exciting. A lot of movement. A lot of movement.
Yes, we've had lots of movement for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But I think the only thing that's moved for me at the bottom here is Anton is going to the bottom. And yeah, the both of us have him there. Just one win this year. It's going to be tough to come up with to move up the power rankings with just one win, especially when we have such a crowded league at this time.
Absolutely, 100% agree. 100% agree.
For number 9, you have the Killers, and I also have the Killer Tomatoes. Dave, why'd you put them there?
Well, I mean, they got to score some more points, right? But they got 2 wins. They have a couple more wins than they have one more win than the Hoods, but it's
still a team that needs some improvement. At Absolutely. Number 8, you have the Bitches, and I also have them there too. So far, we're 3 for 3 on this.
Disappointing that I had to put the Bitches down there. Yeah. I talked highly of the Bitches earlier on a couple episodes ago, but they're just.
They did win last week, didn't they?
Yeah, they beat Committee. But I mean, to be, it's losing record. I mean, I'm not one to talk. I have a losing record too, but they've had a couple performances this year that have left a lot to be imagined. But
so with that win, they gained a spot on your power rankings, but they didn't gain anything on my power rankings. Going to number 7, you have the UK Bills, who dropped from number 5 last week, and I have the Knob Slobbers.
Have you dropping a spot?
Yeah, I have you dropping a spot.
2 wins in a row. I'm one of the hottest teams in the league right now.
Yeah, one of the hottest teams in the league, maybe, but I think you're still kind of in that mid-range, that 5 to 7 range, where it's kind of a cluster at this time.
Yeah.
At number 6, you've got the Committee dropping 2 spots, and I've got the UK Bills dropping 4 spots.
Yeah.
And you also had the UK Bills dropping a couple spots too. So I mean, what happened this week with the UK Bills to deserve that kind of attention? They still put up 160 points last week.
Yeah, they're 4th in their division. They got, I believe is that 2 in a row that they've lost. I could be wrong. I don't know, but yeah, I mean it's just from a scoring standpoint. I mean they put up a big score this week. They're in a tough division. You look at that division, and they got some work to do because there's pretty much almost everybody ahead of them in the power rankings is in their division.
Right.
And they're playing those. They play them twice, right? Or do we play everybody twice? I don't know, but it's a tough division.
I feel the same way. I think UK Bills has a very solid team, but it's just such a cluster in those top 6 or top 7. And when we head to number 5, there's no way that I was able to put them above my team, and you weren't able to put them above your team.
No, and the reason why I have Committee dropping a couple spots there is that they lost 3 games in a row. He's got to do some work around with that roster, get that fixed up in time for this week. But Yeah, I think my team is start something beautiful here. Start something beautiful. That's why I have my team in the playoffs, even though ESPN does not agree with me right now.
All right, at number 4, you put the Muppets, and I put Buffalo Angela. Angela moving up a spot from last week, getting a win over Anton's team, and you have the Muppets moving up 2 spots from last week.
Winning record, scoring some points. Looks like you're headed in the right direction. You got yourself that running back that your team so desperately needed.
Yep. We never hit on that trade. We just went over the injuries. The trade was Mike Evans for Antonio Brown and Darrell Henderson.
Darrell Henderson, yeah.
You needed some wide receivers, or you needed a starting wide receiver.
Yeah. Because Thielen and Robert Woods when Robert Woods has had a terrible season. And Thielen, he's just, I know they have Jefferson over there, but I do think you get more protection from Thielen. So I need a wide receiver who I knew I could count on a week-by-week basis.
And he came
Antonio
up
Brown wasn't. Yeah, he did. Antonio Brown wasn't the answer for me. Wasn't an answer. So I figure, I know Brady loves to spread the ball of the Tampa, but Mike Evans is still probably his favorite target to at least look at.
Evans is the end zone target for sure.
Right. So
I thought the trade was very fair. You needed starting wide receiver. I needed a starting running back, and you had running backs to spare, and I had wide receivers to spare. And then Antonio Brown was just kind of thrown in there to try to even things up. But it looks like this week I'm gonna be forced to start him because he keeps putting up points too. So at number 3. This is the top 3. You got the Beckham Jr. and I got Double D. Double D is moving quickly up the rankings. Last week he was 7 for me, but he was number 1 for you. Yeah. Meanwhile, Beckham's staying in the same place there.
Yeah, I mean Beckham's got even though I beat him, Beckham's got a great team. He's destined for good things here.
At number 2, you have Buffalo Angela, same spot they were at last week. And I've got the committee. Let's talk about Buffalo Angela here for a second. I mostly kept her at the same spot, and it was chiefly due to just beating Anton. I mean, when I looked at this game, it was close. 182 points probably gets it done against most teams. I don't know. I'm still not sold on that team. I'm not sold on the quarterback situation there. There are a lot of people that think Jalen Hurts is about to blow up. I'm still in the prove it campaign for Jalen Hurts, and same thing for Baker Mayfield. I'm still in the prove it campaign for him. He put up good numbers last week, but can he do it on a week-to-week basis? And same thing with Mike Williams. I've been a huge fan of Mike Williams ever since he got in the league. Back in my other league, he's a perennial Muppet, where he's on my team every single year. This year I wasn't able. I would have loved to get him for my team this year for the Muppets, but I wasn't able to get him. Really wanted him on my team, but knowing the history of Mike Williams, he tends to be injury prone, and he also tends to be a boom or bust player. He was very much like Deshaun Jackson, where he'll either give you 35 points or he'll give you 5.
Right.
And
he's been all boom this season.
Right. And so far he's had a lot of booms. Let's see if he can keep that up heading into week 6. And at number 1, I have Bennett like Beckham, and you have Double D. Tell me the difference here.
I mean, Double D is just like, if we go, let's go to the standings real quick. If you're able to pull those up, and just look at what Double D has been pulling off.
Double D
here.
On a 4-game win streak. I remember playing him in week 1 and smashing his face in.
How can you not have him at number 1 at this point in time? He's the hottest team in the league. He's got 4 wins in a row. He's scoring a ass ton of points in the making. He's just Bennett's got more points than him. Yeah, but Double D is 4 wins, and again, it's not like he's beating the Antons of the league. He's beating quality teams.
Here's why I've got Double D lower than you. You might have Double D at number 1, but I certainly don't. and it's because he has the least points against. It's very easy to come up with 4 wins when the other teams cannot score against you. Solely that reason. I'm gonna give the team that gets the most points number 1. Probably 4 times out of 5.
Fair enough.
This week's predictions. This week's predictions, we have.
Well, let's talk about last week real quick.
Okay.
Because you didn't do well in your predictions. I think you only got 1 right.
Oh, you want to talk about last week's predictions?
Yeah, you only got 1 right.
Yeah.
I got 4 right.
It appears so. That also appears so.
So, I mean, it looks like my Christmas tree is going to have yet another Sean Klein inspired ornament. I'm looking forward to that. You got some work to do.
It's still an early season. We're just in October. Things
5-game
can
lead,
turn around
though.
here.
You know,
things can turn around here. Double D and Beckham. We're both on the Beckham train. We're both on the Beckham train, despite you saying Double D is the number 1 ranked team in the Biddy Bum Bums.
Yeah. Sometimes even the best teams have a little bit of a hiccup, and he's playing a worthy adversary, a very good team. You know, this is going to be like
this is Sunday Night Football right here.
This is Sunday Night Football, right? This is the Bills Chiefs, right? This is the game that everyone's been looking forward to, and I think the Beckhams are going to pull off a Bills win here.
Another very good game, Buffalo Angela versus the Committee. You've got a great Angela.
Game this week.
Yeah. You got Angela to continue that streak. I believe she's 4-1.
Yeah, I think after this week, it's right now. I think we have 2 clear top 3 teams, in my opinion: Beckham, Angela, and Double D. And I expect Angela to kind of continue her winning ways. She was the hottest team in the league to start the first 3 seasons, and hopefully, she's. First of all, she's about to give birth to their first baby soon. So I hope.
Congratulations.
Yeah, absolutely. So I hope she's able to not only welcome in a healthy baby, but also get a W over Ben in the making as well. What a great treat that would be. You give birth and then you beat Ben.
Now we get into the more Solomon Wilcots and Jay Feely matchups here. You have the Tomatoes and the running back by the hood. As said by our power rankings, we don't have very much faith in Anton's team at this time. He can still turn that around though, and this is the week to do it against the Tomatoes. But neither of us have the faith to be able to put our X in that column next to the hood.
Yeah, I don't have any faith in Anton's team.
UK Bills and the Bitches. Both of us have the UK Bills. For me, I think they're still an up and coming team. They've hit some bad luck. I don't think their record really reflects how good of a team they really have. So I'm really hoping that they can, or I shouldn't say hoping, but I'm really thinking they can come up with the win against the Bitches. And then the last game is our game.
I don't know why it says that. I'm not picking. I'm picking myself. So if you want to make that I don't know why it has. I had Dax there, but big game. It's a great game. So last year we had a bet, right? I think whoever you had to do an ice of a giant Smirnoff. So what are we doing this? What are we doing this year? This week at least. What do you want to do a challenge? I'm going to beat you, so I mean, you name your price.
Yeah, I could do another ice or like a stout chug.
Ooh, okay. I mean, okay. I mean, it's again because you're going to be the one ending up doing it. So I want you to do something that you would definitely.
I want to be fair to you. I don't want to be like, oh, you got to do a strikeout.
Well, I mean, I would do it correctly, unlike Anton.
You wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I would.
All right, let's do a strikeout then.
Fine by me.
All right, we got a strikeout on the line.
All right, I like it.
All right, we have one more topic to discuss before we close out the show today. and it's your player to watch this week. Who you got?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna do a couple players. I'm doing the wide receivers from Tennessee there, Julio Jones, AJ Brown, both coming off not playing last week, both still kind of not 100%. I think it'll be interesting to see how these two players, and I mean, these are two, I mean, probably 95% rostered, both these guys.
Elite wide receivers.
Elite wide receivers. See what they can do. What kind of points they can put up against a stout championship caliber defense there in Buffalo. So I think that's just going to be. I think that probably is a matchup that favors the Bills, but I think a lot of people out there have both those receivers hoping for big games. So I think a lot of games are going to come down to how well they might be able to play. You know, if they're not 100%, I mean, is Taron Johnson and Tre'Davious White really going to have to try that hard to shut them down? Who knows? It might be a Derrick Henry show. We'll see.
All right. Things to watch. My two. I'm also going two players this week, but I'm going Brown wide receivers, not the Browns, not Cleveland Browns. I'm talking Hollywood Brown and Antonio Brown.
So three Brown receivers, like last name, not. Well,
yes.
I have AJ Brown. You have Hollywood Brown.
Oh yeah. I could add AJ Brown to the list too.
Yeah,
Shoot,
might as well.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, all those receivers, but particularly Hollywood and Antonio, they're coming off really big weeks, and Antonio Brown, can he keep up that type of production? You and I were talking before the trade and whether or not it was viable to give up Antonio Brown. You and I kind of agreed on the fact that he's way too inconsistent. He can put up those 30-point games, but the next week he's going to get 5. It's very game plan oriented. Meanwhile, you have like a guy like Mike Evans who's involved in the game plan all the time. Now, I bring that up because that was Hollywood Brown last year. Mm-hmm. Hollywood Brown was very hit or miss. He'd either score 3 touchdowns or he'd get no receptions at all. Right. And this year it looks like Hollywood Brown is taking a very more active role in the Baltimore offense, and he continues to put up points, but I wonder how long this can last. So
I think it's as long. Lamar Jackson's throwing the ball more this year, so I mean that has a lot to do with it.
For sure. Are they going to keep up with that type of game plan though? That's something that has yet to be seen. Now these two Browns, Hollywood and Antonio, also related.
I was going to ask you which one was their cousins.
Yeah, I believe they're cousins.
I wasn't sure if it was AJ Brown or Hollywood Brown.
It's Hollywood Brown and Antonio Brown, cousins. Both put up 30+ points last week. Can they come up with 15+ this week? Those are my two players to watch.
Exciting. I like it. I think last week I had Dawson Knox had a great game. And then you had I forget who you had. You had somebody, but
Amari Cooper.
Who
also had a big game, not as big as Dawson Knox's. So I think you won the player to watch last week.
Nice. I keep on winning against you. It's going to keep on continuing as we go, as the season goes.
Keep running your mouth. Well, that's all the time we have for you on the BiddieCast this week. Tune in next week for another great episode. Take it easy.
Yes. Take it easy. Go Sox.